Right, welcome back. After making a surprise appearance in court earlier this year, Prince Harry is due back in court in London this week. He is set to testify in the lawsuit against a newspaper group accused of unlawful behaviour and finding out personal details against a host of well-known people. It's one of several legal actions that the Prince is involved in. SABC News correspondent John Bevir is in London. Let's cross to him now. John, perhaps you can give us a preview of what we can expect. What's the latest with regards to what's happening on your end?
Yeah, so Prince Harry was expected in court today, but he's not actually there. So what we have today is his legal team setting out some of the arguments that we're likely to hear more about in the coming days. They say that due to Harry's security arrangements, it was difficult for him to get here today, and he will be here tomorrow instead. The judge said he was fairly surprised that Harry wasn't there on the first day of his own trial. So things not off to a great start, you would argue, for Prince Harry in this. As you say, a lot of this comes down to how newspapers found out information about Prince Harry. A lot of these stories that are being looked at in this legal trial are from years ago, from when Prince Harry was still at school, for example, and he is now a man in his late 30s. So we are going back a long time here. What Harry and his legal representatives allege is that this newspaper group did things like phone hacking in order to find out information about the young prince and publish that. They say that was a breach of privacy, that was against the law, and so they are looking for compensation for that. It's worth noting that this is a test case. So there's Prince Harry and 3 others who've brought this initial claim against this publishing group. And if they're successful, then many other well-known people here in the UK will be getting involved. And this case might set, if they're found to be guilty, if the publishing group is found to be guilty, this case might set how much Prince Harry and others would receive in damages. So there's a huge amount on the line here, all surrounding the British media, the British tabloid press, and how it finds out information.
John, talk to us about the significance of Prince Harry taking to the stand. It is the first time that a senior royal, will be cross-examined in 130 years. I'm asking this because obviously the family's approach was also one of never complain, never explain. Walk us through that, particularly as you also alluded to the timelines. He has to go way back, relive, things that obviously happened a long time ago. His breakdown of relationship with ex-girlfriend Chelsea, amongst many other issues that are set to come to the fore.
Yeah, a lot of this, as I said before, goes back to when Harry was a very young man. There are stories in there about how he got an injury when he was at school, and that stopped him from playing rugby and he had to play football instead. His legal team say, well, they got that information because they hacked some phones of some of the key people involved, and Harry himself when he was old enough to have a mobile phone. But the defence to all of this is that actually people would just leak the information to them, that Prince Harry, as a young prince, as a very famous person here in the UK, he was very high profile. So there were leaks at the school where he used to be. They've said they got information from within Buckingham Palace because there were leaks there as well. So that none of this was illegal. This was the old-fashioned tabloid journalist trick of cultivating your sources, maybe taking them out for a drink, maybe giving them a few pounds here and there for them to tell you the gossip and the tidbits about the royal family. And although that might be immoral, it's certainly not illegal in many cases, so long as you don't go too far and breach someone's privacy. So we have that very delicate line. It's going to be very difficult for Harry's solicitors to prove that he was the victim of phone hacking. There doesn't seem to be some sort of smoking gun in all of this. We don't have somebody who's come forward and said this is what's being done. What we do have, though, is this group involved. They actually in the past have admitted to phone hacking, but say this is not the case there. So that will be something that Prince Harry's legal team focuses on. In terms, as you say, a member of the royal was giving evidence. Yeah, we have to go back to the 1890s, the last time a senior royal was on the stand. That was all to do with a defamation case, a slander case to do with a card game and things that you might expect in the Victorian era. So a very different world then, a world long before mobile phones and phone hacking, obviously. And yes, like you say, it's the royal family, traditionally very quiet, traditionally very private. They do sporadically maybe try and take people to court, but actually they never appear in court themselves. So interesting that this is the tactic that Prince Harry has gone for. Of course, Prince Harry no longer a working royal. He's had this very public split from the royal family. We've seen his explosive memoir published, his groundbreaking interview with Oprah Winfrey along with his wife. So, of course, this is all adding into that. This is Prince Harry again saying he deserves privacy, but in order to get that privacy is again having to make a lot of headlines.
John, just very quickly in conclusion, how does this impact the royal family's relationship to the media and its relevance going forward?
Well, I think the media very much see Prince Harry as someone different now to the royal family. They see Prince Harry as a separate entity. They see Prince Harry's press team as separate to that press team that is based out of Buckingham Palace. So I think very much we're seeing this in two camps. We don't expect the royal family to comment on these proceedings. They certainly keep themselves to themselves. They're keeping their noses out of this. So I think this really is a battle between Prince Harry and the tabloid press here in the UK rather than the wider royal family.
John Bevir, thank you for your time with us here. Again, SABC News correspondent John Bevir weighing in ahead of Prince Harry that's due back in court in London this week. Again, a developing story that we will continue to monitor here on the SABC as it unfolds.